Hey there, and welcome into another edition of Corley Quarterly, sponsored by Elite Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Steve Layman, along with Belmont Athletics Director Scott Corley. And Scott, it is about to be the busiest time of the year for you. The only one not going now, but give it about a week, and women's golf will be out there on the links as well, which will mean you will have 10 different programs competing at the same time. Are you getting rest at night? Are you staying busy?
It's a fun time. It's a lot, but you know what? The best part is watching our student athletes get to compete, all the hard work that they put in the off season to see it kind of come to fruition. And you know, for me, I love going out there and supporting them as much as I can. You know, can't be at all places at once, but really excited about what the spring's going to hold for us.
We'll talk more about those spring sports coming up, but of course it is crunch time for the college basketball season. The men's team in good form here recently. That big winning streak after getting Jacoby Gillespie back. Great road victories in there as well. A lot of excitement about what this team is building to here late in the season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's really nice to see Jacoby back in the lineup and the difference that he can make towards that, you know, the team dynamics there. I mean, the Missouri Valley's wide open in a lot of ways. Indiana State is certainly, they've lost 2 in a row, so they're dealing with some issues. Drake is just, you know, they're solid and steady. But I think, you know, if we can continue this momentum, confidence is a funny thing. You know, you start winning some games, putting some games together, you start playing better because your confidence level is up. You go to Arch Madness, and I do believe anything can happen this year.
Well, the expectation for both of these programs is championships, that's for sure, and especially the women's team. It feels like everything they've gone through from the beginning of the non-conference schedule and how brutal that was through the gauntlet of the Missouri Valley has them prepared for what they'll face in Moline.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this team. They're very unselfish. They always make the extra pass to find the open player. And Bart has them playing great defense, which is key, as you know, to winning championships. And so, you know, they just do a tremendous job, and there is an expectation. And those players know what to expect when you get in a tournament environment. And we've been very successful over the years in competing well when you need to the most.
Arch Madness is 2 weeks from right now, the 30th year of Arch Madness at the Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. Then the following weekend, it's Hoops in the Heartland in Moline for the women's side. What do Belmont fans need to know? And I know part of the push is when a league is so competitive like the Valley, we want to get as many people wearing red and blue to both of those venues as possible.
No doubt. I mean, we need to educate our fan base that there's a lot of really good basketball in this conference, and you know, and take the show on the road. Join us in these two places where you can come and watch a lot of good basketball and still support the Bruins. Arch Madness, that's a tournament that's been there for 30 plus years. It's an incredible environment. And then Moline, they've really embraced the women's tournament there. It's a really fun environment as well. And last year to get into the championship game against Drake really had a good fan base. We had ours, but we need more.
Now to switch gears and talk a little bit about the spring sports. It's hard to believe we're already at the championship season when it comes to track and field. What have you seen so far from those squads early in the spring?
Well, the indoor track and field, it's a little different than outdoor because you don't get all the throws in there. But I really like the progress that they've made. It's an interesting sport. Again, you know, you can be having great meets and doing all your best work, but if you're not peaking in that, you know, indoor championship, then you're going to be disappointed. But I know the coaches and the athletes have been working really hard. A lot of people have been, you know, achieving their personal records leading up to this. And I think we're healthy. So everything I hear, there is a lot of optimism going into that meet in Chicago.
In terms of tennis, a lot of adversity for the men's side early on in the season. That winter storm we had in January wiped out, I think, 3 matches for them in 1 week. And then, of course, you have the coaching change. You go out and you find Jeff Ciro from the West Coast and bring him in. What did you identify with him, first of all, that makes him a good fit for your program?
Well, there was a couple things. First and foremost, I think he's a coach of high character who really values investing in the relationship with his players to make them not only be the best player on the court but off the court. And then what he was able to accomplish on the court Very successful program. I think been undefeated in conference play in his conference for the past 3 seasons, made it to an Elite Eight for the NCAA Division III level. And so he brings the ability proven ability to build a championship program.
The men's team won the Horizon League last year in their first year in that conference. You still believe that once they get going a couple months down the road that you put it all together, there's a chance to do that again?
Yeah, I do. I think this is a veteran group that knows how to win, how to compete in the pressure moments. They've been battling a little bit of injuries here. You did lose a couple key players from last year's squad, but I know the fortitude that they have and really like these players. And when it comes crunch time, I think they'll be able to deliver.
Danae Vorster's in her second season as your women's tennis coach. And Scott, I think you know I'm a tennis guy, and I heard somebody in the community tell me a couple weeks ago, you should watch what she's doing. It's really impressive in the second season already. What have you seen from the women's program so far? And I know they have a huge match, Battle of the Boulevard, coming up on Sunday.
The women's team, Danae's just jumped right in and really has done an amazing job working with her players, helping them develop and helping them get better. I think she's a tenacious recruiter, which is always key. I know they had Mississippi State. That could have gone either way. It was 3-3 final match, number ones going against each other. And we lost in the third set tiebreaker, so you can't get much closer than that. And that was after taking 2 points at Ole Miss the previous day. So she's got the talent. The Missouri Valley's a tough conference. We were picked third, I believe, in the preseason, so still work to be done. But really, really have enjoyed watching Danae, build this program, get the momentum going, and expect them to compete for the championship.
Men's golf got started this week down in Florida. Women's golf gets going in a couple of weeks. Do you believe there's the possibility for both team and individual success there?
I do. I mean, Illinois State's really good. They picked first in both men and women's side, and so you're going to have to knock off a really quality program. But I like on both sides, particularly men's side's got a good mix of veteran players coming back, good young players. They had an extremely successful fall that can carry over. Women's side, same scenario. Olivia Jordan, Coach Jordan's done just an amazing job, building a quality, consistent program. She's got great senior leadership. Delia Gibbs is back for her senior year, and she's always in the mix for an individual championship. So a lot of excitement around that. It's, a lot more to go, just getting started, and it's another sport where you got to be playing your best at the right time.
I love the softball program that Laura Matthews is building, and it jumps off the page right at the start. A Power 5 win over Illinois on the opening day of the season. It's been a difficult schedule, but they've acquitted themselves well early.
Yeah, she really likes this team, and she's done a great job building the talent to compete against Power 5 schools on a consistent basis. It probably starts with great pitching, and she's got that this year with Maya Johnson and Emma Summers. They're really, really good, quality, veteran, experienced pitchers. And then the hitting, is just continues to get better every year. So I'm excited. I know she's excited.
I think the same can be said for the baseball program. One of the Valley's banner sports is baseball. Last year, Bruins stepped right in and competed. This year, ton of guys back, depth in the pitching staff. I think they could turn some heads potentially.
There's no doubt. I mean, last year, you have 19 new people, 19 returning. There was a lot to figure out there, and I thought they acquitted themselves very well playing good baseball, particularly at the MVC championship. And so you bring a lot of those guys back, and I know they've been working extremely hard. I know they're very excited about the opportunity. It is a very difficult conference, as we all know, but these guys are hungry, and I do think they're going to have they're really going to represent us well throughout the whole season.
We always want success on the court or the diamond or the links, wherever it may be. But you also care deeply here at Belmont about the success in the classroom, and great news there again with the new GSR.
Yeah, we once again finished in the top 10 in all universities in our graduation success rate. It's just such a, it's one thing I never want to take for granted. And sometimes when you continually get all these academic accolades, you can kind of take them for granted. And so, very, very proud of it. Goes back to, obviously our amazing student athletes who are so dedicated and committed in the classroom. The support that's granted from Renee Schultz, Colette Kaiser on down, just the way they kind of put their arms around these students and make sure they're staying on track, doing the right things to ultimately, which is ultimately what all Division I sports should be about, is making sure your student athletes graduate.
Scott, thanks so much for the time. Have fun this spring supporting all those teams, and of course, with March coming around, the basketball programs as well. That is the spring edition of Corley Quarterly, sponsored by Elite Sports Medicine and Orthopedics.